July 4th, 1918. Steve Rogers is born in Brooklyn, New York. Even as a child, Steve is weak and constantly sick. Doctors fear that his fragile body may never become strong, but his mother refuses to give up on him. While other children run and play, Steve can only watch. But even as a child, he refuses to give up. Fortunately, Steve is not alone. He soon meets his best friend, Bucky Barnes. The two quickly become inseparable friends. As he grows older, Steve dreams of becoming a soldier, but his body remains painfully weak. Then, the world is thrown into war. Steve knows exactly what he wants to do. He wants to fight for his country. But the military doctors quickly notice his condition, rejected. But Steve refuses to quit. Again and again, he keeps trying. Even his best friend begins to worry. Bucky fears that Steve may get himself killed. Steve doesn't hate his enemies, he simply hates bullies. One man sees something that everyone else misses. His name is Dr. Abraham Erskine. Why do you want to become a soldier? Because I don't like seeing innocent people suffer. That answer changes everything. Steve is selected for a top secret experiment. No one tells him what will happen next. The place is unlike anything he has ever seen. Scientists begin preparing the super soldier experiment. Steve takes a deep breath and steps into history. The experiment begins. The serum flows through every part of his body. The pain is almost unbearable. Dr. Erskine refuses to stop. Seconds later, everything becomes quiet. The chamber slowly opens. Steve Rogers is no longer the same man. Everyone stands in complete disbelief. The super soldier program is finally a success. But victory lasts only a moment. The assassin escapes immediately. Without hesitation, Steve gives chase. The chase spills into the streets. He steals a waiting car. Steve refuses to let him escape. Even the crash can't stop him. Steve closes the distance. He finally catches the assassin. Before he can speak, it's already too late. With Erskine gone, Steve becomes the world's only super soldier. With the scientist dead, the formula was lost forever. You were now the only super soldier in existence. But generals saw an experiment, not a frontline soldier. Instead, they made you the face of national propaganda. Artists designed a simple stage outfit for theater shows. Tailors measured your new frame for the stage costume. You put on the bright suit, fulfilling your duty. They handed you a prop shield, made just for show. You stepped under the lights to sell war bonds. Night after night, you punched fake villains on stage. You were sent overseas to perform for combat troops in Italy. But battle-hardened soldiers didn't want to see a performer. Sitting alone in the mud, you realized you were just a distraction. Then came news that an entire regiment was captured. Your best friend was trapped deep inside enemy territory. The general refused to send a rescue team into the zone. Under cover of night, you flew into enemy airspace. You jumped alone into the hostile wilderness below. Slinking through shadows, you reached the secret fortress. Inside, you searched the dark halls for captive soldiers. Breaking the locks open, you set the captives free. Deep in the lab, you found Baki still alive. Together with hundreds of men, you fought your way out. You came face to face with the commander of the Shadow faction, revealing a terrifying monster created by the same serum, escaping just as the entire fortress collapsed in flames. You marched hundreds of rescued men back towards safety, walking into camp, turning a hopeless tragedy into victory. You were no longer just a symbol, you were a leader. A brilliant engineer invited you to choose your combat gear. Hidden under a desk, you found a rare circular shield. Made of rare metal, it absorbed every single impact effortlessly. You redesigned your stage outfit into real field armor. The shield was painted with the iconic colors of freedom. Fully equipped, you were finally ready for real warfare. You gathered the bravest soldiers you saved to form a team. They trusted you completely and agreed to follow you anywhere. Together, you planned a campaign to destroy the enemy's factories. And so, your crusade against the Shadow Army began. Base after base, your squad struck with relentless speed. You mastered the shield, turning it into the ultimate weapon. No line of defense could stop your unstoppable momentum. Soon, you uncovered the location of their ultimate leader. A dangerous mission on a mountain train promised to end the war. You boarded the speeding train amid a blinding blizzard. Inside, heavy armored guards ambushed you in tight corridors. A sudden explosion tore the side of the car wide open. Your best friend lost his grip over the endless abyss. You reached out, but he fell into the icy darkness below.